What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a special bonus episode of the Arc Junkies podcast. So what I did while I was in Chicago is, in between shows and different podcast recordings and stuff like that, I wanted to walk the show myself. So I wanted to make sure I hit up all the booths that I thought were cool. And what I decided to do is take my mobile recording equipment with me and actually, record the conversations that I had with the vendors about the various products that they had. Because I figured not everybody's going to be able to make it to FabTech, whether it's, the coronavirus, can't get off time from work, or, just didn't have the funds available. So I kind of wanted to give you all the FabTech experience, via home or via audio. Hopefully this episode will inspire you to, make FabTech 2022 a priority. FabTech is just an awesome event where, we can all get together. You can meet new people. You can hang out with the vendors. You can check out all the different products that are available. So I just kind of wanted to bring that experience to you all via audio. So let's go ahead and get into it. These are just random interviews that I conducted while I was at FabTech. All right. You know what time it is. Fire up your machine, drop your hood, and turn me up 5.
You're listening to the Arc Junkies podcast. Helping you make every weld better than your last with each episode. Now your host, Jason Becker.
All right, so I'm here with Jason Marburger with Fireball Tools. Jason, what's going on today? Tell me about this new badass vise you got here.
This is a 270-pound big bench vise that I call the Fireball Hardtail. And it has a 14-inch jaw opening, and I basically built it to be indestructible.
And you've been working on this for how long?
This is the third year I've been working on this design. Cannibalizing all vices, going back in history, looking at what works, what doesn't work, and then trying to perfect the design.
Now, what kind of pressure can we actually get out of this vise? What separates it from, say, like a Wilton, which everybody's kind of familiar with?
I've seen today here at FabTech, looks like the high score is 28,000 pounds of force with the handle. That's only 12 inches long.
So you're generating 14 tons of force with a 12-inch handle?
Yep.
Now tell me a little bit about the handle, because it looks like you've got some design work in the handle as well.
The design of the handle is it's smaller in length because we don't need a long handle. But it also has some built-in engineering to keep the vise safe. So there's some reliefs that have been machined in there. So if you put a cheater bar on it, the handle's going to bend before the vise breaks. So this is the safety factor built into the vise.
So it's inherent design, and you can actually swap that handle out at any time. So if you wreck your handle, you just get a new one.
That's right. So this is what's going to protect the whole system from. It's kind of like if your drive line breaks in your car instead of the motor blowing up, right? You'd rather have the drive line snap before the motor does. So that's the whole idea. And there's ball bearings in here in the end, so that it's really easy to turn, and so you don't really need a long handle to get the leverage you need.
Well, awesome. So if you guys ever get out to FabTech, make sure to swing by Fireball Tool. Check them out online. Go ahead and plug your social medias and your website.
This is fireballtool.com. You can find the vise there. And on social media, on Instagram, it's also Fireball Tool.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Jason. I'm here with Joe Campbell with Universal Robots. So tell me about the systems that you guys have here today. You're working with something completely different called cobots, integrating robots with human beings.
We are the world's #1 manufacturer of cobots. We've already shipped over 50,000 into the market. And they're doing all manner of production jobs, every industry and every application. What we're showing here at FabTech today is a couple different applications. The first is collaborative arc welding. It has taken off like a storm. These are very low cost, quick to deploy, quick ROI systems that are really gaining a lot of ground. The first collaborative robot for arc welding was introduced about 4 years ago. And today we have actually 5 manufacturers on the FabTech floor that are delivering cobot-based systems.
That's very impressive. I know you guys, we were just talking that you have plasma attachments that you can put on here, yep. Material handling, welding applications. The sky's the limit, and they're super simple to program. I mean, I just walked through with one of your reps, and he programmed it in like 2 minutes,
It is very, very common to take some skilled operator off the line, no programming experience, no degree, no robotics experience, and teach them how to set up a cobot in a matter of hours. We actually have an online training academy. It's been used by over 100,000 people around the world. In 2 hours, you can learn the fundamentals of cobot programming and operation. It's a big win.
And it's pretty intuitive. I mean, you've got a touchscreen application here, so you can just kind of scroll through. It literally shows the joint design right there on the screen, and then you can make adjustments on the fly. You can go back and say, okay, that didn't work. I can go back and reprogram, the size weld or whatever works.
Do it the other way. I think the other thing, the feature that's really important, particularly for welding, is to lead through teach. So experienced welders can literally grab the weld head, the torch, and bring it to the angle that they want and the attitude that they want to the weldment, and teach that point that fast.
That was one of the things that I asked years ago, because we have one at our school with a teach pendant, and you have to program, bring it down X, Y, Z, figure out starts, stops. It's like, why can't I just grab this head and put it right where I need it and say that's where I'm going to start, and then swing it over and say that's where I'm going to stop, do that.
Well, I know you've had this experience, right? There's a point of frustration where an experienced welder says, you know what, I'm not going to program the thing, I'm just going to weld the parts myself. And what we're seeing now is that experienced welder is going, I can program the cobot faster than I can weld the parts, so I'll just program it up. That's a big difference.
No, it's a huge difference. It's a massive time savings, and like you said, the ROI on it is just, that's a game changer right there. You're gonna get your money back a lot faster switching over, especially if you're doing repetitive parts all the time. And then it's so easy to change. If you've got a batch of 50 parts, you could simply justify purchasing a robot.
We see it all the time. In fact, if you look at the cost of hiring a welder, an experienced welder, and with benefits, and possibly training them, because maybe you don't get the most experienced welder, you can buy a cobot welder for about the same amount of money, 1 year payback, and then you're really, really generating margin. It's a big difference for a contract weld shop.
So with more and more robots in production, are they becoming a little bit more affordable on the market for the average job shop?
They are. This is about a $80,000 to $85,000 setup from our partner Vectus Automation, and that is very typical. And again, that's about the cost of a skilled welder for a year. And the other nice thing is you can extend the shift with the cobot automation, right? Because you can actually stack up or queue up multiple parts to weld. We have lots of customers that go home at 5 o'clock. The cobot cells continue to run for hours after that. That's real productivity.
And I think the coolest thing is you actually have this unit mounted on a strong hand table. So I mean, it's just like you can fixture all your parts right there on a table. You don't have to be in a cell, and it's portable. It's on wheels. So if I need it on this side of the shop right now, but in an hour I got to move it to the other side of the shop to do parts on that side, it's just unlock the wheels, unplug it, and roll it along.
And it's 120 volts, so you don't even have to pull in high power 3-phase. It's just that easy. And for a contract shop, that makes a big difference because setup time is often the difference between profit and loss on a job. So the tighter you keep that setup time, the more profitable you're going to be.
Now, what's your average time like as far as just setting it up initially, bring it in for the customer, and then putting it all together from like out of the box to up and running on parts?
We have fantastic customer testimonials that literally will say 4 hours from unboxing to production parts. 4 hours.
Damn, I mean, you could do that before the first shift.
You're absolutely in business before the first shift is up.
Well, awesome, Joe. It was great talking to you. I appreciate your time. Thanks for showing me around, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you, Jason, very much. Have a good day.
All right, so I'm back with Jake Ross over at Hypertherm. You guys have probably seen it like I have. They've got this social media stuff all over Facebook and Instagram. They got a plasma cutter underneath a black curtain. So, Jake, tell me what's under the curtain.
All right, so what's under the curtain is we have 3 new systems. So we have the PowerMax 65 sink, the PowerMax 85 sink, and the PowerMax 105 sink. So the sink platform is comprised of 3 new major components. The first being the cartridge-based consumable. So if you look at how your business interacts with consumables, you typically have, maybe, a toolbox full of consumables and you got 5 parts there. So we take those 5 parts and we turn them down to 1 part. So also integrated into the torch consumable is you have an RFID chip. So the RFID chip synchronizes with our second component of the system, which is the Smart Sync torch. The Smart Sync torch will actually send the info back to the power supply, which will auto set not only the maximum amperage that the consumable can run, but also the process. So if you want to switch over to gouging, you put the gouging cartridge in, and as soon as you do, the machine's auto going to set to the gouging mode. Same thing with cutting. You go back to cutting, it's going to auto set to the cutting mode. It's also going to set to the maximum amperage. The other feature of the SmartSync torch is we actually have a remote amperage control. So as soon as we cycle through that, we can lower and then raise the amperage through the button on the torch for amperage control. The other thing is, and this is a pain point in the industry, is going back to the back of the machine. You got to go back, you got to cycle power. It is what it is, it's safety. And Hypertherm's committed to safety. But at the end of the day, now we can switch the consumables out. And as we re-engage them, it's going to prime air through and we're ready to cut. We don't have to go back and cycle power on the machine. So those of us that keep machines, underneath a workbench and they crawl back there to cycle the power, we don't have to do that anymore.
So a couple cool things about this is now you've taken all the consumables, you put it into one packet. So now I don't have to search around for a swirl ring, a nozzle, an electrode. All of this is comprised into one setup. And like you said, there's an RFID chip in there. So once I put that set of consumables inside the torch, the machine automatically sets itself.
Yeah, that's 100% right. So all the 5 pieces go into one piece. So let's expand that a little bit further. Maybe you're running flush cut, right? Or high access. So now I got 5, 10 with high access, 14 different pieces. Now I go down to 3. 14 to 3 is huge. It takes up a lot less space. I mean, if you're an industrial manufacturer and you're, maybe you're at that stage where you have vending machines in your facility, that real estate on the shelf means a lot when I'm looking at 14 different spots out of that vending machine being taken up instead of just 3.
No, it's a pretty cool setup. I mean, I like the whole concept of it, just being able to go from one process to the next, and once you swap the consumables out, the machine dials itself in.
Yeah, and you nailed that on the head. Going from one process to the next. Hypertherm's got a lot of capability, especially like I'm sitting here holding a set of flush cut consumables in front of you. Imagine the inconvenience of having the right application for flush cut and having to go back to the machine and cycle power just to do that one job. Now I can do that job, put the flush cut in my back pocket, and go right back to standard cutting.
That's pretty impressive. I think it's a very unique setup that you guys have there. I'm looking forward to messing around with it.
Well, get ready because you're going to start cutting.
All right, Jake, thanks again. All right, so I'm over here at the Weld Metals Online booth with Justin the Fabricator. Justin, how's the show going so far?
So far, so good. I feel like I should be staring at a camera when you're doing this.
It's a little bit different, just in an audio format. I used to have a video guy follow me around and everything and film all this stuff, but I don't know. I like the audio version better. People tell me I have a face for radio, so it's been working out for me.
I definitely have that. I got, only a mother could love it.
So tell me a little bit about Weld Metals Online for the folks that kind of live under a rock and don't know.
Weld Metals Online is a prepackaged metal retailer, effectively. So we have welding coupons, welding kits, fillers, supplies, consumables, even welding machines. But the beauty of it is that if you don't want to, take the time to cut up metal, prep metal, or anything, you just want to weld it, you tear the bag open and you start welding. We prep it, we have it ready to go, all packaged, gets to your door almost as fast as Amazon.
So all you got to do is cut it open and start welding, which I think it's a brilliant concept because, for the average welder at home, the hobbyist, that wants to learn how to weld, they've got to go to the steel supplier. Then they got to buy a 20-foot stick, figure out how they're going to get that home. Then they got to buy, either a saw or a shear or, a torch to cut everything up down to size. And then you have the kits as well.
Yeah, the kits all come basically pre-assembled or preset with virtually everything you need minus the argon. So most of the kits, they have an assortment of coupons, an assortment of filler metal in different sizes, and they also include tungsten, which is, we use laser tungsten, which is like the weld everything, any machine ever, so it always leaves the confusion out of it. But the kits are always huge sellers. People are just like, okay, everything all in one, I don't have to worry about it, I'm not confused about what I should be purchasing with this, so it's just an all package deal. Shows up and you're ready to roll.
Right, and what kind of alloys do you have with these packs?
We have everything from steel, regular carbon steel, stainless steel, aluminum. I got titanium, I have copper, I have Inconel, I have, everything.
Damn, so no matter what you want to get into, you pretty much got it covered.
Just about, yeah.
And then tell me a little bit more about the kits.
The different kits that we have, it's basically, let's say if you want to do all stainless steel, we have an all stainless kit. Has multiple sizes or thicknesses of coupons and multiple types of filler. We also have a dedicated aluminum kit, dedicated steel kit. We have mix and match kits where like one is half of it is steel, half of it's aluminum. Our starter kit is one of the biggest sellers out there. It comes with aluminum, steel, and stainless in 2 different sizes, and it also gets you into welding tubes, which it has the multi-cope kit, which is multiple straight copes or 90-degree copes. It also comes with filler and the tungsten in it. That one's like one of the best ones to get started. The other one is the master kit, which is just about every metal that we have and a handful of different tubes and stuff like that. Full pack of tungsten, all the filler in the world. That one even includes titanium in it as well. But just about any kind of thing that you want to get into, there's a kit for it.
And then you've got project kits as well, like cubes. You got diamonds. You got the endless square, the hurricane kit.
Yeah, all of the different puzzles, or we call them weld challenges that you want to do. We have everything from, say, if you want to like build a diamond, like what you're going to be stacking off against Max with, different tube kits, copes, shapes, you know, you name it. They're all designed to challenge and really push you and increasing your welding skills. So something like the welder's knot. That thing, every time you add another piece to it, it gets harder. So you start out being like, oh, this is no big deal, and then it changes direction, and it's like, oh, this is getting tough. And it gets down to the end of it where there's no flat surface to set it on. It's like, you got to really figure it out at that point, aside from figuring out how to put it together to begin with.
Right. No, it's pretty cool, and I think it's great, you know, especially for students. I tell mine all the time, hit up Weld Metals online, you know, buy your coupons there. That way you don't have to, you know, go to the steel supplier and buy everything and shear it up, you know. I let the students take scraps home all the time, but you know, there's only so much you can do with leftover material. And then I like the fact that everything comes pre-cleaned and ready to weld right out of the package.
Yeah. It's all hand wiped actually. So we have a dedicated staff. That's what they do. They clean, they package, they rock and roll. So it definitely makes it 10 times easier when you don't have to worry about it or even have to have any equipment. It's just open it up and start welding.
Well, awesome, man. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Absolutely, Jason. Thanks so much.
All right, now I'm over here in the CK Worldwide booth with Jeff Sharp. Jeff, how's the show been for you?
It's been excellent. We've had a lot of good people come by, qualified people. We've been packed all the time we were here, and we're very excited to come here, support the industry, support our distributors, and more importantly, support the people that buy our products and are looking for solutions for applications that they are currently facing.
So tell me a little bit about some of the things. Why is CK Worldwide better than some of the other torches and consumables that are on the market today?
Well, CK Worldwide's mission has always been to build a better product, to innovate products that match up to solutions in today's real world, and we take the time to look at how a torch was designed and how we can improve it to increase the profitability and productivity of the people that are using the TIG torches and accessories in the world today. So we've come out with better collets, better gas lenses, better performing water-cooled torches, high performance power cables, and again, since we are focused only on TIG torches and TIG torch accessories only, that allows us to keep that focus on our mission, which is to build a better product, as opposed to some of our competition that they also do MIG, TIG, laser, and they tend to forget about the trying to improve on a TIG torch which was designed in the 50s. But we take the time to make sure that we are looking out for the interests of the people that are using TIG products to be able to provide them a higher quality product to make them more profitable and productive.
Now, I like a lot of your consumables, especially the tapered collet. Instead of like the standard split collet that everybody's used to, yours seems to lock in place a lot better, and they don't get twisted up with the heat.
Correct, and that was designed a number of years ago to address the problem with the split collet, which gets twisted and gets deformed, and when it gets twisted and deformed, then you're not transferring the current efficiently. You're actually creating some resistance heating, which is then going to increase the problem that you're having. So by having a wedge collet that puts the tungsten in direct contact with the collet body or gas lens, you're actually creating a better, more efficient current transfer point, which will have a better arc start and stability, as well as having a collet that's going to last easily 10 times longer than a standard collet, if not more.
Right, and I know you guys are pretty innovative. We got a bunch of torches sitting behind me. Just innovative in design of torches, you know, so you guys have the flex lock. You guys kind of went above and beyond than a flex style torch. So now there's more ergonomics. It's a lot more comfortable in the hand, a lot easier to operate for people that are going to be doing this, 8, 10, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of the other people that make TIG torches, they still rely on the technology back in the 50s. Well, you can imagine the different applications that have evolved since the 50s, and we take a big interest in listening to the people that are on the job, that are doing those new applications, and they're telling us what they need. And so we pride ourselves in our innovation by having flex locks, clear nozzles, wedge collets, extended reach torches. We've got micro torches. We got fully automatic machine torches, fingertip amperage controls, and we're coming out with a new product, which is a foot pedal and a fingertip amperage control combined. So you can have a foot pedal for when you're doing bench work, but then you can also open it up and take out a fingertip control when you're going to do some out of position welding. So those are the things that we listen to that's happening in the field, and then we take it upon ourselves to meet those needs of the new applications that are present, as opposed to relying on 1950s technology.
Nice. And where can people find more information on your products and consumables?
You can find us at ckworldwide.com. We've got a great website. You can search for different products there. You can get on our Instagram account. You can reach out and call us directly at 1-800-426-0877. One of the things we also pride ourselves in, when you call us up, you're going to get a live body. You're not going to have to go through a press 1 for this or press 2 for that. The person that answers the phone, they're probably going to be able to help you out immediately, or they're going to put you in contact, transfer you to somebody that will be able to answer your questions. If you're looking to where to get the product, we'd be able to tell you where in your local area how to get our products.
Well, nice. Jeff, thanks for your time. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your show.
We are definitely enjoying the show and appreciate sitting down and talking with you, and we thank you for all your support.
All right, I'm over here now with Dynabraid, and I've got Lexi and Fred Deere over with me. Tell me a little bit about what you guys have here at the show today.
Yeah, hey, so I'm Lexi. I'm the welding channel specialist at Dynabraid. Everything that we have at the show, so we have the majority of our top sellers here, ranging from everything from general purpose tools to belt tools, of course, orbital sanders, grinders, all of the polishing and finishing tools. We are a USA-based manufacturer, so we're located in Buffalo, New York. About 99% of our items are manufactured in the USA. They come with a lifetime warranty, a repair program, and it's one of the top quality tools that you can really access.
Tell me a little bit more about the replacement and repair. We were talking about this before we hit the record button. You guys have a really cool program where you can send your tools in and get them rebuilt and repaired.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything being USA made, we have a couple of repair centers across the US, or you can send it right back into Dynabraid, and we go through it, make sure everything is sound and tip-top. We get rid of not just what's broken, but all of the replaceable components get completely changed out, cleaned up, and then the tool gets sent back out to you. So it's the same housing, but it's almost a brand new build.
Nice. And then tell me a little bit about some of the newer tools that you guys have out here today, Fred.
Yeah, so what we'll focus on is matching up our abrasives, making sure that we're able to run them at max optimal speeds to get the best performance out of them. Ceramic abrasives, you need a little more horsepower, not just speed. So we'll match them up with the proper tools and the configurations that will fit with the workpiece that you're working on. Along with that is just a wide range of RPMs and horsepowers. Not one tool is going to run every abrasive, run it well. So what we'll do is we'll come in with our 35 guys in the U.S. and look at that application and make sure that it's outfitted properly for what they're doing.
Now, do you have variable speed adjustments on each one of the tools?
No, you can vary them, typically about 10%. You can vary the PSI. So 90 PSI is what all of our tools run at. If you regulate them down, you'll start to choke them down a little bit and lose power. I mentioned needing power to break down some of the minerals. So what we'll do is we'll put the proper gearing in there. So the output is going to give you the max RPM, what we're looking for. So you do get some variation to be able to tweak it and run it a little bit slower to maybe finesse. But really, you want to be able to hit the trigger, get full power on it to be able to break that mineral down, break those abrasives down.
And you guys have everything here from the drum sanders, the 6-inch orbital sanders, or 4-inch orbital sanders, 6 and 7-inch grinders, deburring bits, roll locks. I mean, you name it, even some engravers and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So any type of abrasive, whether it's a carbide burr to some of the bonded products, what might be a cone plug to a 9-inch stone. We've got the proper setups for it. Again, the right horsepower. So again, it really just depends on what the operators are doing. Somebody might be using a fiber disc, but it might be an AO product, and they don't know about a Zerk or a ceramic, or even a radial flap disc might be an option for them. So that's where we come into play and kind of look at the application, and then dial it in, make sure we got the right proper speed, proper horsepowers.
Nice. And then Lexi, you were telling me about you guys have an educational program coming up with Dynabrade.
Yeah, cool. So Fred mentioned that we have 35 sales reps in the U.S., so we have one pretty much in every single state. And part of our vocational program is whether it's a high school, a college, any kind of program at all, we can send in a rep to come in once a semester, so work with the teachers, work with the classrooms and the students to talk about all the different tools that we carry, but not just our tools, to go into a deeper dive on how to use tools, what to look for in the market, how to maintain them, what to do in certain situations. And really it's just our way to give back to the next generation and try and help the schools by giving them access to some of the tools they may not have access to yet.
Nice. And what's the best people to find out, or best way for people to find out more information on Dynabrade and the educational program?
Yeah, so we have a few different pages on Instagram, the Dynabrade Inc. account, the Dynabrade_auto. And if you have any questions about the vocational program, I am Lexi_Dynabrade. Please reach out to me if you're a student or an instructor. I can give you guys more information. And our team of reps is more than willing to come in. They get really excited about doing these kind of things, so please reach out.
Perfect. Well, Fred and Lexi, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I'm over here at Fisher Engineering with Ben Finney. Ben, how's the show been so far?
Pretty good. We've had a lot of interest in all of our products, and we're really happy to be here. It's our first time.
Is it your first time at FabTech?
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
It's been really interesting. It's a little stressful being the first time and kind of getting everything settled, but I think it's going to pay off.
Right. No, it usually does. FabTech's usually a good event. So tell me about some of the stuff that Fisher Engineering has for the welding industry at an end user level.
Sure. So what we're standing in front of here is our test positioner. This is called a perf pod, and it's a very modular fixturing solution for weld schools. Right now you can see it's set up for a 2G, but simple pull of a pin, we can flip it to 1G, 4G. Turn another pin, we can flip it to 3G. We have attachments for doing pipe, and we can do 6G or 2G or 5G on that easily enough. It's height adjustable, it's freestanding, or you can mount it to the floor. Highly modular solution for positioning of welder tests.
Okay, and you guys also sell some different testing equipment for doing guided bend tests. It's one of the things that we actually use at our school.
Oh yeah. So down this way is our BT1C. This is a roller guided bend tester for doing one test over and over again. This is going to be for if you're only bending around one size of mandrel. If you do need to go to a second size, just get another set of roller plates and along with your mandrel, and you're good to go. Although it sounds like you have our BT1D, which is another roller guided bend tester we have. That one for going to a different mandrel size. You switch, you just open up your roller spacing with a one-touch knob here. It's got an opposed thread, Acme thread down at the bottom, and opens or closes the rollers to the appropriate size. And you check that out on a scale here, and away you go.
That's what I like about that one, is just because you never know, what you're going to have to bend. So I wanted to have the versatility, so I can go through the different types of, requirements for the D11 code book.
And we have a full range of mandrels with this, everything from 1/4 inch diameter all the way up to 3 3/4 inch diameter. And if need be, we can make custom mandrel sizes too.
Nice. And you guys also sell test plates as well, test plate, test pipes, all that stuff in various types of alloys.
Yeah, so main thing we sell is going to be A36 because that's what most people kind of start out learning on. And but yeah, we have a full array of alloys, materials, sizes, everything from sheet metal coupons for some people all the way up to 1-inch thick plates, 6-inch schedule, 10 up to 6-inch double X. We've got here a 12-inch. I think that's schedule 40. We can go up to 24-inch OD materials if they need be. We can do custom bevels. This is a nice J bevel on an aluminum pipe here. We've got some double J grooves and examples. There's all sorts of different things that we can do for weld preps.
Nice. So you guys are pretty much a one-stop shop for I don't know, any CWI firm that's trying to test people, companies that want to test their employees, and schools who want to test their students.
We'll help you with everything but the welder. Yeah.
Nice. And what's the best way for people to get in contact with you all or find out more information on your products?
So we have a website, fischerengr.com. That's FISCHERENGR.com. Or you can contact us by phone, 937-754-1750.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Ben. All right, so I'm over here with Shannon with Faro Tools, and they got a really cool product. You guys need to be on the lookout for this. It's called the Mason, and it's a writing utensil. It's the ultimate builder's tool. Shannon, tell me a little bit more about this writing apparatus.
All right, so our Mason was built off of our products for the U.S. military, make tactical items. And in the tactical category, multiple tools in one product. It's extremely important. So our Mason is housed in an anodized aluminum metal body. It carries a soapstone refill as well as a graphite refill, interchangeable. On the back side is a tungsten carbide straight scriber. It's great for etching metal and glass. The protective cap that goes over that scriber actually has a built-in sharpener, so it's hidden in there. You can keep the soapstone and the graphite point sharp for all layout and marking. On the front side of the barrel is an architect scale for reading blueprints. We have it in 1/8 of an inch scale and 1/4 of an inch scale, so you can read both ways. And on the back side is a metric ruler, and there's a built-in bubble level. So all in one, it's a great marking layout tool, and most welders have to have it.
This is a very cool product. I was so impressed with it, I actually just bought one. But you also have a capless paint marker. Tell me a little bit about the capless paint marker.
Yes, so the capless paint marker, it's called our Saber Paint RT. It was developed to be a one-handed operation, so you no longer need two hands to open a paint marker. There's no cap to use. You click the back and make your mark, and then just click. There's no cap to go find. It's an alcohol-based paint marker. It remains permanent as long as you want it to remain permanent. And if you want to remove it, it will be removed with just standard rubbing alcohol. We have it in 6 colors: black, blue, red, green, yellow, and white. And it's a game changer for anyone that uses paint markers. It's the markers don't dry out, and you use far less, and it's just a more efficient way to mark.
Awesome. It sounds like a great product. I can't wait to get back to the shop and start trying it out. Shannon, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here on the last aisle of the last booth of the last day of FabTech, and I ran into my good buddy Max Saran with the CWB, and we had ourselves a little competition this morning, a little weld-off over there in the Weld Metals Online booth hosted by Justin the Fabricator. Max, it was a pleasure welding with you, man.
You know, man, that's a lot of fun. At the end of the day, and we talk about this all the time, where we are now started with a couple of kids burning rods. You know what I mean? And that's things like today having the weld off. It's what pulls you back into where you were, that fun, that competition you feel, you know, when you strike those arcs and you want to do well.
Yeah, it's always fun, like kind of, you know, thinking back, you know, when I was 15, I never thought welding would bring me this far or provide the opportunities it has been. You know, like I tell everybody on the podcast, my students and other people I run into, there's so much more to welding than just what's under the hood.
100%, man. And like, you don't even know what the hell that is, right? Like, I mean, I said it to some guy last night. I was like, you wake up, you work hard, and things fall in line, right? They just fall in line and never say no, right? Like, opportunity comes crawling by and somebody's like, hey, you want to do this? And it's like, just say yes. Don't worry about not knowing what's going on.
That's been one of my biggest, I guess, launches into success and things that I've done in the industry is saying yes to opportunities. And I've gotten to the point where it's been hard to say no, but sometimes you got to practice your no's as well because it can be too overwhelming. You know, you get too many irons going in the fire.
Well, there's always a sacrifice. Like I say, you're a cup. You can only hold so much, right? And if you get too much or too little, you're either running low or you're over full. So, you know, I've made some sacrifices in my life that sometimes I look back and I said, those were tough ones. I didn't spend as much time with my kids when they were little as I probably would have liked to because I was, you know, trying to make those decisions with my career and thinking it was for the best. And I don't know if I'd go back and change anything necessarily, but you think about it, right? You think about it.
Yeah, that's the hard part is the work-life balance when you get so many different opportunities. And I I was talking to somebody at the Arcs Nails event the other night, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was the chairman of the Chicago section of the AWS, and he was saying, make sure you go to bed tired every night. Like give every day your all.
Yeah, that's. I think we know that. I think you and I practice what we preach. I think that's why people listen to us, and I think that's why people come to us and ask us questions, because we're not just out there just talking, right? Like we do it. We try anyways to show people the level of effort that it requires to be credible, and we're not just out there just talking about stuff that we don't know about. We're literally only talking about stuff we know about. So
yeah, exactly, 100%. And that's the cool thing is, like, we don't just talk about welding. Like I still weld in my garage. I still weld at the house. Not mine. I weld every chance I get. I didn't. And the cool thing is we talked about this on the podcast or after the podcast about a year ago about doing this competition over at FabTech. And as we got closer, we started hearing, more companies were bailing out. The big companies weren't going to have anything out here. And luckily, Justin with the Fabricator series and Weld Metals Online, they had some cool kits, and we got to run some of the Fronius machines in the booth today and throw down, have a little friendly competition, and that's what it's all about. I was nervous leading up to it, because I haven't done a welding competition since, like, I was, back in the day. It was VICA, Vocational Industrial Clubs of America, and now it's Skills. So, but I always tell my students, like, don't be afraid to compete. At least show up. That's 90% of the battle is just showing up and trying it out. And we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Like when I got hired at the college to start teaching at the college, I actually brought it up to my dean, like my program head, and I was like, "Is it weird if I set up like welding competitions among the instructors, and the students get to be judges?" And he's like, "That's a tough sell. Instructors don't sometimes like being called out like that, right?" And you and I both know in the colleges there's instructors that can weld, and there's some instructors that weld with a small W, right? So we set this up, and it was one of the best things ever, because number one, as instructors, we had to up our games. Our students are the judges, so they're looking and they're cheering, right? They got their favorites, and it's breeding that competition, because it's not just about competing with somebody else; it's about competing with yourself, right? Like you always say, it's like the corniest weld thing, everybody. You're only as good as your last weld, but it's true.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the funny thing is, I just hired 2 new instructors, and before I left, one of the new hires that I brought in, he's like, I think we should do a welding and weld off, on a Friday, because that's when we usually don't have students in lab, but have the students be the judges of the welds. So we're gonna do a 4F, a couple of 4F welds, and then a 3G test plate, and then maybe a horizontal, and see who's kind of best overall, and then go ahead and test the 3G pieces.
Are you gonna throw in a stainless TIG in there?
Probably not going to do a stainless TIG, but they want to do it all off stick welding, which, I mean, that's my favorite process, man. That's my bread and butter. I love stick welding.
I was just thinking about that for next year. Like, I would love to see this be, kind of like every chance we get. Kind of be like something that people will be like, hey, Becker and Max are going to be somewhere together. They're going to organize a weld off, and we'll come up with like a different weld every time, right? Or maybe even let people decide. Like, you guys pick what would you want to see us weld. Because I definitely have my favorites. Today was not one of them, but I'm game. I'm in, right? And if it ends up being like a 6G pipe or some open route 6010 or 7018 overhead or whatever, right? I think that would be a blast.
No, that'd be cool. And I think if I remember correctly, we got an event with Kali down in Houston in December for the adult welding competition that you and I are supposed to judge. Maybe we could clash hoods again down there.
Oh man, that'd be super fun. That's been postponed a couple times. Hopefully it's not postponed anymore. Hopefully things settle down by December. But I want to be there, and that would be fun. And there's like tons of kids there, man, tons. So that'd be lots of fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good event. Well, it's Max, it's been a hell of a ride, man. It's been a hell of a week. FabTech 4 days. It feels like I've been here for a month.
Yeah.
I know we're both overworked. What do you say we go grab something to eat, grab a beer?
That is exactly what we're going to do, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Arc Junkies podcast. Thank you so much for downloading. Until next time, make every weld better than your last.